since we left the trading relationship, we've got our trade with the EU is actually up some 10% since the end of the transition period. It's up some 40% since the end of 2016. Our foreign direct investment since 2016 is about the highest of any European nation.
Here's a chance to hear more of Michael Heseltine taking on both Brexit big heads Isabel Oakeshott and Richard Tice. This is from last year, and as per usual, Tice and Oakeshott somehow span the divide of saying on the one hand Britain is doing well after leaving the EU, and on the other, the reason Brexit isn't working is because of meddlers like the civil service and people like Heseltine.
Well comparable. So it seems to me that people are sort of they're essentially sort of talking down Brexit before actually it's been given a chance to maximise the opportunity.
Well, if the figures that you've just given were accurate, why are people so upset? Why is there a concern? I mean, you just depicted a triumph. Now, let me just sort of help you a little. You see, it's not the people like me. Did you see today's Telegraph? Brexit is dead.
Yes, I did. That was
and
an
those
article.
are your most fanatical supporters. So
that's right.
How can your greatest supporters allow this sort of adverse propaganda be published?
That was an article by Cheryl Jacobs, Lord Heseltine. But the point is, what she was concerned about is that the establishment figures.
Let's start again. What about this one? The Bank of England. People £1,000 worse off. The Daily Telegraph. It's not me. It's your friends.
The reality is that our GDP growth...
The reality, I've just told you what the reality is. I've just told you what the reality is.
No, the reality is the figures, Lord Heseltine.
Trying to delude people as you've been doing for 6 years. How can you dare to say that it's only 2 years or 4 years? The referendum was
because that's a question of fact, Lord Heseltine. It is only 2 years
nearly
since the end of the
7 years ago. And the people who were in charge in the government of the day, Boris Johnson, Liam Fox, David Davis, did you think they knew what they were doing? 2 years before we had a general election. Then we were told we'd get Brexit done. Why now? Are we still waiting to know what that means? I'll tell you why. Because it meant a pack of lies.
Well, Lord Heseltine, let me tell you why. The reason that we're in the position we are is because Remainers such as yourself worked very, very hard to thwart Brexit ever happening. So you can recite the many years since 2016 but we've had no time to actually make it work.
You've had 6 years with your hands on the levers of power.
Well, we'd love to have had 6 years.
Don't tell me it's people like me or civil servants.
Click here to ask what were you voting for when you voted to either stay in the EU or leave the EU.